Mark, I have to sign the sheet up here. Yeah, sorry about that. I thought everybody was. You're not gonna speak. Okay, thanks. Let's see. So, the Mifflin Community Library presentation. Yeah. Please come up and state your name and business.
I am Allison Callbach. I live on 347 Pheasant Road, and I'm a trustee for Mifflin Community Library. And we're here to make a presentation for the budget to be included in the budget next year.
And I'm Christine Bonfito, 330 Scenic Drive. Okay, so there we go. All right, so we just wanted to let you guys know about the what role we play in the ongoing story of the Mifflin Community Library and why we're here today, and share how your support will help keep our story alive. We want to thank everyone for making space to hear our annual edition of the Mifflin Community Library update. We appreciate your ongoing investment, both financial support and 3 representatives on our board. With your partnership, the library continues to grow, adapt, and serve as a welcome community center for all ages. We remain careful stewards of the community resources, ensuring every dollar makes an impact.
Our collection of programs, from weekly story times, including a sensory inclusive story times, to BCIU partnership, summer concerts, Dungeons and Dragons, story walk at Moton Playground, and story time at Nolde Forest. The library offers a shelf full of diverse programs for all readers in our community. We're very proud that we maintained our Gold Star status by providing high quality resources and programs that meet community needs. Our fundraising, our annual appeal raised $24,000 in 2024. And we're also building new partnerships with local businesses through our sponsorship program, while volunteers and the library board also ran 10 successful bingo fundraising events this year. We are very careful with our budgeting. Even in the challenging financial times that we've had, we've managed the funds wisely to maintain a full service of over 60 dedicated volunteers. Over 60 dedicated volunteers help us turn the page without increasing costs.
Additionally, we have been rewarded $10,000 from the Hiller Foundation for expanding our collection, $5,000 from their friends for the new storage shed, and we are seeking new volumes of support. We can continue to apply for grants, cultivate business partnerships, and encourage legacy gifts to ensure our shelves remain full for generations. So our ongoing story. The Mifflin Community Library is a vital chapter in Cumru's story. With over 2,000 active card holders in the township, your residents rely on us for resources for knowledge, creativity, and connection. Every contribution, from funding to advocacy, helps ensure our story continues. So we appreciate this year's increase and respectfully ask the borough maintain the amount of $39,500 in 2026. Every dollar is well spent. Is a well-spent investment in this community treasure. Together, we can help keep writing the future where the library remains strong, vibrant, and inspiring resource to all.
Thank you. I just want to say I'm sorry that I missed your open house earlier. I intended to come. I had another meeting, so.
Yeah, we appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anything for the ambulance service?
I don't have anything specific The information was included on your G drive. Let me know if you have any questions, and I'll ask Mr. Cosgrove. I don't think he or the assistant chief are here, deputy chief are here this evening. No?
And did everybody have a chance to look over the minutes for the September 16th and September 30th POC meetings? Do I hear a motion to approve the minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes. Second.
Mr. Bill Miller,
Yes.
Mr. Greg Miller,
Yes.
Mr. Batdor.
Yes.
Mr. Donnell,
yes,
Ms. Rao.
Yes. Okay, tax collector.
There's not much to report. If you have any questions, let me know. In regard to the tax collector's schedule, there are postings on the door and on the website. I believe she is closed shortly, part of October. And also, I believe she is closed on election day, which is November 4th. Voting will take place here. Obviously, the rec building is still occupied by the construction crews.
Thank you. So there were no further public comments, and we can get right on to the departments. Chief Winchester couldn't be here tonight, but in place of him is Officer Kruger. Lieutenant Kruger.
I believe the chief had sent his report to all the members of the board. If there's any questions on the chief's report, I'll do my best to answer those. Other than that, if there's any questions on any of the other recent events or the, I see item B here, the press release on the death investigation on Scenic Drive, I'll be glad to answer those questions as well.
Any questions?
Have they come to any conclusions at this point, or is it still an open investigation?
The Scenic Drive investigation was resolved as a suicide.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Any other particular questions on that issue?
Thank you. Yeah. Fire Department with Chief Bean.
Thank you, commissioners and public. My monthly report should have been attached, so I'd really take any questions. It's been an active last couple of weeks here. And I know we're in October, but soon we'll be in November before we know it, but it's been quite active with things. There's no questions on the September report. We'll move on to item B, keep things moving. Looking for a motion for a pay application, and I'm going to put these all together as I've done in the past. For Bolton Incorporated, pay application 16, the amount of $331,930.41. HB Fraser, pay application 15, $64,708.97. Vision Mechanical, pay application 14, $30,039. And Air Management, pay application 12, $79,488.40 for a grand total of $506,166.78.
I'll make a motion to pay the bill.
I'll second.
Mr. Greg Miller,
Yes.
Mr. Batdor,
Yes.
Mr. Donnell,
yes,
Mr. Bill Miller,
Yes.
Ms. Rao.
Yes.
Thank you.
And letter C, I'm going to defer to Manager Johnston because I do not have a copy of the spreadsheet, which gives us all the numbers for the update on the handicap ramp paving addition to the fire station project.
what I wanted, first of all, the board had asked for an update on this. You may recall that at the last meeting, I spoke about incorporating, redoing the handicap ramps on the two entrances of this building and paving the large rectangular areas, if you will, of the parking lot associated with this building at the same time as such work was being done for the fire station project, because the ordinance associated with the bond issue also included other campus improvements, and these are things that need to be done. And yeah, I'm sure it's obvious walking into the entrance that the handicap ramp needs to be redone. And the board, I did not have specific numbers last time, and the board asked for updates. The total amount of the extra work is around $246,000. $100,000 of that was coming out of the allowance for the GC Bolton. And then the balance of that is coming out of the bond funds. And that's also taking into account, as I relayed to the board, there are various items that have been credited in the project. Items that we have cut out or changed to result in some credit. In fact, there's one that Chief Bean recently found that hasn't even been evaluated yet. So in terms of the amount of money being used, we're coming out since the last meeting to the better side of $15,000 to the good. And that includes the arbitrage payment that we have to make within 60 days of October 29th. We have to make an arbitrage payment having to do with the delay in the use of the bond funds. And I can talk at length about what I know about arbitrage, but we have a payment of $21,900 that has to be made by the end of the year, essentially. And that is taken into account to come out of the bond money. Now, the way this would work administratively is as a change order. That is the way administratively it will come through on the paperwork. This extra paving and the handicap ramp concrete work. And that's the item that I wanted to make sure to get out in front of the board, because I know sometimes the word change order is almost a 4-letter word. And that will be in association with this extra work. And I wanted to make sure if you had any qualms about that, now is the time. The paving for the fire station parking lot will start November 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Not this parking lot. So don't worry, people can still vote. But then after that, then the contractors will switch over to this parking lot. So I wanted to get that out in front of the board, that the words change order will be associated with this portion of the project. And if I can't answer a question, I will try to get you an answer to questions. So.
Any questions?
Sounds like 15,000 of the good RAF is the end of the story, right? Basically.
Yes. And if we can make it even gooder than that, we will. I really have to commend Bill Miller, Ms. Rao, who had attended some of the construction meetings, Chief Bean, Scott Brady, who's our IT liaison back there, and Gary Brady, who's been kind of the eyes of the fire department. We've been having construction meetings every 2 weeks since the project has started, and it has paid dividends to continue having those regular meetings. There are so many issues. I will never build anything again in my life, not even a doghouse. There are so many details that come up, or supply chain issues that cannot be anticipated. And of course, right now, with the economics being a bit mushy, that's another concern. And of course, you've heard me talk at length about Med Ed, but those regular construction meetings, I think, really paid off to control the cost of the project, or if something is happening that's unusual, we know why it's happening and the origin of it, and not being taken completely by surprise. So I just wanted to thank those individuals for all their time spent on these meetings. And Patty has been attending all of those meetings as well. So thank you to all of you.
Okay, Jean, you can go right into administration if you're ready.
Okay. The codes report is rather sparse, as you can imagine. Permitting for the year is winding down a bit. I will say that towards the end of the year, you'll see these numbers continue to be low, and then all of a sudden in about February, when people are beginning to think, oh, the groundhog came out, maybe I should come out with my permit, you'll see that pop up. In regard to item B at the top of page 3, the Sunset Townhouse Apartments, this is an update to an item that the board had asked us about quite a while ago. The Great Valley Consultants, Terry Noggle, is our liaison for this issue. And he and Mr. Frymoyer have kept up the pressure basically on the entity that is in control of this project to continue, forcing them to continue to get their ducks in a row to get this project done. This is about Sunset Townhouse Apartments is 200 units. It's the tallest building in the township, 10 stories. And it was built in 1976. The subdivision was done in 1973. And the elevators are that vintage. And there have been numerous problems when the fire department has to go out there. There are numerous problems with the ability of the residents, who are mostly elderly, to get out. The notice of violation that's noted on your agenda, the entity in management of the Sunset apartment building did respond with the information that was requested. They are still acquiring, I guess they have to have those units custom built. And they're still in the process of acquiring, but they did provide the information that was demanded of them. And I know the county commissioners are also interested in this issue, and I've been keeping them apprised of what's going on. So that's strictly an update. If you have any particular questions, I'm sure that Mr. Rogoski could get any answers from Terry Noggle next time he sees him. The next item I might need to defer to you.
I'm sorry, Jean,
yeah,
back on
sure.
that. So they did respond and they gave us the information we're looking
Yes.
for. What happens now?
Now we're waiting for their supplies to come through, the actual built units, right, Jim? Yeah.
Yeah, it could, I think it's up to or upwards of a year. This isn't something you go buy off the shelf. Long overdue. And it's just the process that we have to go through because of what's in there. But staying on them as we have, most recently, we just had an issue, which I know is a fact. They've been told not to call the fire department when the elevators aren't working. Well, quite frankly, if management was doing anything right down there, they would have somebody there 24/7, 365. That when the elevators have an issue, we don't have to go hunting for someone. Immediate response in my book is someone picks up the telephone when we call them to say, hey, we have a problem with the elevators and we need somebody for maintenance here in the facility. So that's been worked on. There's been some back and forth. Terry's really the lead on the whole thing with the elevators. And this is something that has to be retrofitted to an existing building that was built back in 1976. So they're, in my opinion, like they're moving as fast as they can at this point. And hopefully things don't get delayed like they have on one of our own projects here. And they can at least get one done and then supposedly going to follow with the second, because you can't take both of them down at the same time. But it will take some time, and it's a matter of staying on them, that the timelines that they provided in the request from Terry, that they follow those. Obviously, every time we go down there, we document what we find. Usually it has to do with burnt food or something like that. Or the elevator does get stuck on the floor, and then we have to go down and get it back in service if we can, but sometimes it does require maintenance. But if you ever experienced it, and I don't blame the folks that are living there, but there's a vast variety of, I want to say, people living there and payment methods. So this is a really touchy situation, needs to be corrected. It's being worked on. I just don't think we can expedite it any quicker, because elevators, you just don't go pull off the shelf. And when they do this, obviously this will be a huge upgrade to the building. But I think it was a year, Willie. Was it a year, like, till said and done, the timeline on the schedule was a year. So that clock is ticking, I believe, at this point.
Okay, thanks for that. So Gene referenced the county commissioners. I did hear from Commissioner Santoni on this. I'll kind of throw this out for Kelsey and or Gene. You can kind of respond as you see fit, but his request was for like a synopsis of the situation, because he would like to run this by the Berks County area on aging and have them come out and take a look at this place. So I don't know if it's appropriate to come from Kelsey or from Gene, or if you collaborate. I don't.
It doesn't really matter who it comes from if that's what they're looking for. Anyone can make a report to the Office of Aging for an investigation.
Yeah, because I think I hear you. It's positive news that we got something going, but it sounds like it's still a year away. And to Chief Bean's point, they haven't always exactly been on top of things.
Oh, yes.
So
We do not disagree.
Yeah, I don't think that the chief, or I'm sorry, not the chief, the county commissioners kind of went a lay off on this. I also heard from Rep. Guzman. He is going to bring the PA Secretary of Aging to Reading in November. The date has not been set for that yet. But one of the stops they're going to make is to Sunset, because his office has had a number of complaints as well. Senator Schwank also heard from, she has made some attempts out to their management, has not gotten a lot of response. I'll just leave it at that from them. So she's interested in the situation as well and is willing to support as we need it there.
Thank you. I think all that is good stuff. One of the problems has been over a period of time, that this is not excuse making, this is just relaying the situation, has been one, turnover of the management there, and two, it took them a very long time with lots of persuasion from codes, from Mr. Noggle, for them to even put out a contract for bid. And then for some reason that I do not understand, and remember, this is not a township project. It took them forever to sign a contract with Otis Elevators, which is the one they finally selected as or won the bid. They're not under the same constrictions that we are with respect to bidding a municipality. But they finally selected Otis Elevators, and it took a very, very long period of time for them to come to a contractual agreement. And that was one of the things that Mr. Noggle was trying to get at. Did you sign a contract or didn't you? So apparently they have with Otis, and now they've ordered the construction of the elevators, but they have to be custom constructed because of the age of the building. But I think all of that attention on the situation is a good thing. I would request that these entities think about, in a situation like this, if the building had to be closed, where would 200 elderly handicapped people go?
So that's the $1 million question. And that's
Yes.
what all three of those folks, I spoke to them about that. So I think that the folks that they're coming to have a look could probably, if they can't answer that question, they can connect us with people that can, in the event that we have to go there. That's kind of a nuclear option. I don't think anybody's looking for that.
Correct.
But if for whatever reason we have to go there, they could help us out with that.
And that's been one of the reasons the township has been frankly, it as patient as it has, because that is the nuclear option. The- where do 200 elderly, and I believe every person in that building is handicapped or physically limited in some way or another. Where do all those people go? Plus some pets. Where does that end? And frankly, we don't have a resource. The township itself does not have a resource to house that many people, really anyone, but especially a special needs population of that size and the kinds of needs that they have. So if any of the entities that you've been in contact with or that are going to come look at the situation can assist with that in terms of emergency management, that would be fabulous, because that is really a tough question.
And they had that need that they said exactly what they are working on. And in the last, like, about this, they have a contract, like you said, the oldest elevator, but the coordinator who is working on the project left. Left everything in disarray. Now they're working on it, and their timeline average the project they're gonna work on one elevator that's not working properly. The other elevator is working properly, but what I've been told is that when people walk into the elevator, they stand there and they hold the door open. When the door stays open for so long, it's just breaker or whatever is upstairs, then you gotta get maintenance on the circuit. So what I had recommended that is that they get a maintenance guy there 24/7. And I'm glad you know what I'm saying.
Actually, deferring again to Mr. Greg Miller, the municipal boundary, to give you the update from my perspective, the entity on South 9th Street is working on their permitting for their land development up there. There has been some refuse cleanup that township forces have done. That is a periodic area for dumping. As I'm sure some people who've been coming to these meetings a long time know, it's an area that it's very easy to go up there and dump some stuff, and then you never know who is there. But the easiest way to get a really bad dumping situation established is not to clean it up. So it is really to the township's benefit for the township forces to clean it up, and that cost, that dumping cost, comes out of the refuse fund. Also, Mr. Greg Miller had organized a meeting at West Reading Borough Hall with respect to the triangle that is within the municipal boundaries of Cumru Township, not owned by Cumru Township, it's private property, but within the municipal boundary of Cumru Township, up near West Reading and adjacent to West Reading's public works facility. And that also is an area with accumulation of trash and refuse, mostly because of an unhomed population in that area. And there was quite a bit of discussion at the meeting about the unhomed population. The city of Reading sent 7 individuals, and Mr. Miller was there, I was there, Mr. McNichols was there, and there were officials from West Reading as well. I don't know, Greg, if you wanted to speak at all in addition to that.
Yeah, I mean, I think Gene summed it up pretty well. We talked a lot about all the refuse that was in the area. West Reading, by and large, had felt like they had kind of, bared that burden for quite some time and spent quite a bit of money on that. They were looking for assistance from the other boroughs, I should say, township/city, to help there. The way the boundaries are kind of set up is within a matter of feet. All 3 of us have boundaries there. So it's kind of access of a lot of different entities coming together there. So everybody, by and large, agreed we're all going to start sharing that cost. The next time that the Reading Public Works Director goes down there, he's going to call both Bob and the Clean City representative from the city to go down there with them, just to see how much there is and how much they're cleaning up on a periodic basis. And we're also in contact with the county and trying to align on kind of I'll call it a countywide initiative for homelessness to try and figure out, exactly how to approach this, because it's not something that just impacts the city. This is everywhere. Obviously, the quantity, if you will, is within the city. There is also a fair amount of unhoused people in the surrounding areas in the city as well. So, the county commissioners are receptive to that. We kind of have to, formulate our ask and figure out exactly how we're going to go about doing this. But some of the representatives from Reading seem like they're willing to lead that charge. And that'll be coming, in the near future. I think we'll have some sort of action and direction that comes from that.
The next items on the agenda are planning. The first two items can virtually be taken together. They are both reaffirmations of final plan approvals. The Posh Acquisitions Land Development Plan of 2 new lots up in the Farview area. And the proposed action is listed there in the agenda. The second one is Deerfield Phase 4 revision to plan of record for building out a portion of Deerfield Phase 4, which is a previously approved and recorded plan. And the proposed action is listed there on the agenda. So I didn't know if the board wanted to reaffirm those two final plans.
Yeah, I make the motion that we reaffirm those 2 plans.
I'll second.
Mr. Batdorf,
Yes.
Mr. Donnell,
Yes.
Mr. Bill Miller,
Yes.
Mr. Greg Miller,
Yes.
Ms. Rao.
Yes.
Thank you. The budget store and lock, everybody knows this is the area next to Ollie's on Lancaster Pike. This is a final plan approval recommended by the Planning Commission to their second phase. In actuality, no one might notice anything going on because the second phase are additional units behind the units you can already see. So you might not even know anything is going on there. The Planning Commission is recommending preliminary final approval of their second phase.
I'll make the motion. I'll second.
Mr. Bill Miller,
Yes.
Mr. Greg Miller,
Yes.
Mr. Batdorf.
Yes.
Mr. Donnell,
Yes.
Ms. Rao.
Yes.
I will say, I'm sure everyone has noticed the Taco Bell. They are going like gangbusters. I don't know if I've ever seen a building go up that fast. I do not have, I've been asked by a number of people, I do not have an opening date yet, but I can imagine that at the rate they're going, it might be by the end of the year. It wouldn't shock me if it's by the end of the year. But we certainly welcome Taco Bell to the Lancaster Pike area. So thank you.
Okay, no questions? Public Works, Mr. McNichols.
Good evening. The only thing I have tonight is a leaf collection update. It started last Tuesday, October 14th. It runs for 9 weeks. That means it ends December 12th, barring any major snowstorms. The same trucks we pick leaves with, they're also snowplow trucks. We've done one full round of the township so far in this 1 week, so we're moving along pretty good, but we will fall behind as the major leaves fall down, and we'll catch up near the end like we do every year. So any questions, let me know, please.
Thank you. Engineers report, Mr. Roguski.
Yes, at the last workshop meeting, there was some discussion from residents and the board in reference to the intersection of Freemansville Road and Route 10. Both are state owned roads. the complaint was in reference to the turning movements from vehicles such as school buses and trucks and so forth. At the meeting, the board directed our office to at least prepare a cost estimate to study this intersection. And essentially our study would include recreating or plotting the both intersections. One, what the intersection was prior to the installation of the traffic signal, utilizing any mapping, LiDAR mapping and so forth, or any plans. And then also plotting of the intersection as it stands today with the signalization and the geometry and the realignment. What we would do is then analyze both intersections with turning movements from various vehicles such as school buses, trucks that are permitted for Freebitsville Road, since PennDOT has put a truck restriction at our request, and then provide a summary report. Our cost estimate is $2,500. We hope if we can utilize any CAD files, I'm not sure that we'll be able to get anything from the consultant that prepared the actual condition diagram. That's something that we can pursue to minimize that cost. If not, a lot of the cost is in recreating and plotting those intersections to scale so that we can run what we call those turning templates, which we use CAD software, which is acceptable. PennDOT is an approved PennDOT method, and as well as it's accepted. If anybody has any questions, I can answer.
So Joe, that's just for the study itself. So I imagine the results of the study would be quite expensive to implement.
If there's deficiencies noted from the study, we would point those out in our report. However, I mean, my opinion is if PennDOT did review this intersection, I would assume the applicant was required to perform those type of turning movements as part of the approval process. However, that's something that I would investigate concurrent when we're doing the study. But yes, we would identify any deficiencies in any vehicles that cannot safely negotiate any type of turning movement from all four approaches of that intersection.
I mean, I know Mike was pretty adamant not to spend a whole lot of money on this. I don't know if anybody else has any thoughts on that.
I don't want to spend any money on it because it's state road and they're not gonna let us change it.
And I tend to agree. And Mike brought it forward, if everybody remembers, last time. And he did say kind of as he was leaving that he didn't feel like it was the best decision to move forward with spending a significant amount to
Okay,
look at
well,
this.
then let's not.
Do we have to vote not to do something or? Okay.
Any more questions with that? Thanks, Joe. Kelsey, do you have anything?
My only items for the board will be discussed in executive session, so no.
Ben, you came in late. Did you want to say anything? Okay, payment of bills for September and October. Do I hear a motion?
Make a motion to pay the bills.
I'll second.
Mr. Greg Miller,
Yes.
Mr. Batdorf,
Yes.
Mr. Donnell,
Yes.
Mr. Bill Miller,
Yes.
Ms. Rao.
Yes.
Thank you.
The correspondence you can look over, and next is commissioners. Okay, Planning Commission. Consider appointment of alternate to open position.
And to be clear, that there is no crisis. There are two other alternates, and there is a full complement on the Planning Commission. You may recall that you appointed Mr. Zeliskowski to the empty position. We will simply maintain this note on your agenda. Towards the end of the year, there are a couple of different positions on different committees that their terms expire in December. So for your November meeting, I'll be producing a list. but it is worth considering if you know anybody who's interested to make those inquiries.
So there's one more alternate, Gene?
There's one alternate on the planning commission. Right now, we have a full complement on the zoning hearing board. One of those, what happens with the zoning hearing board is every year, one regular position and one alternate position, their terms expire and they either have to be renewed or replaced. That's the board's prerogative. In regard to the Civil Service Commission, the issue right now, we have a full complement, but every year positions expire and those individuals are either renewed or replaced. Right now, the municipal authority is a full complement. I forget whose position is up. Again, similar situation with the municipal authority. My understanding, Kelsey, is that the positions continue unless they resign or are replaced.
That's correct. Yeah, that authority continues unless the board wants to switch it up. Yep.
The Park and Rec Board, as the board is aware, I have advocated that as we come to the end of the fire station project, that the board consider looking at what your open space and recreation plan would be, because the last time the township did an open space and recreation plan, it was dated 1999. I have been contacted by one of the previous members of the Park and Rec Board, Nick Saraday, and he is very interested in such a study. I want to have more of an in-depth conversation with him, but he is looking forward to, when the contractors are out of the rec building, having some meetings of a reconstituted Park and Recreation Board. And I believe there's only one other individual who is still interested. So the board may wish to think about potentially up to 3 individuals to be appointed to the Park and Rec Board next year. So now with the fire station project, we still have to go through substantial completion, and then there will be a punch list generated, and then those are little items that have to be cleared up. Then the total closeout of the project won't be until all the punch list items are taken care of. So we're probably actually looking at February of next year for total closeout of the project. So now would be a good time to start thinking about if you want a Park and Rec Board to be reconstituted, given the statements that the board has made that they're interested in park and recreation. 2, do you want a new open space study? Do you want the Park and Recreation Board to actually do that study themselves with secretarial help? Or do you want to hire a consultant? That can get pretty pricey. You can do it either way. I recommend the board start thinking about these issues.
Any more questions? B, RACP grant application. Update, consider submitting a $2 million request for facade upgrades at 2251 Lancaster Pike. Delta Development submitted on our behalf for upgrades to commercial facades. Application requested amount was $4,200,000 with a 50% match.
There's no update to the board. We haven't received any particular feedback. The application was submitted. I believe Mr. Miller and Mr. Donnell signed the application. So we're just waiting at this point.
And might be until like March.
And if there's nothing else, we have an executive session.
For the minutes, we did just have an executive session to discuss 2 matters of litigation, collective bargaining agreement negotiations, and one personnel issue. There's only one action that will be coming out of executive session, and that would be a motion to advertise and hire for a class 3 administration position.
So move.
Second,
Mr. Bill Miller,
Yes.
Mr. Greg Miller,
Yes.
Mr. Batdorf.
yes.
Mr. Donnell? I wasn't sure if he was there. Ms. Rao,
Yes.
thank you.
Is that it? Okay, for the reminders, Board of Commissioners meetings for November 2025. For November 6th, 6:30 PM is a budget meeting. November 11th at 6:30 PM, budget meeting. Oh, sorry, 13th. Yeah, I'm looking right at it. November 18th, 7 PM, a regular meeting. And November the 20th at 6:30 PM, the last budget meeting. Also a planning commission meeting on November the 3rd at 6 PM. It could be canceled due to lack of business. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
I did.